All right, everyone. I'm sorry I was a few minutes late. My computer wasn't letting me double authenticate in, but I'm happy to see that we're all here. And I started recording. So this is a
Hello.
meeting of the Town of Amherst Cultural Council. My name's Angela Mills. I work for the town manager. We are able to meet via remote means due to the suspension of certain open meeting laws by our governor, Maura Healey. And at this time, I'd like to recognize the co-chairs, Cody Rooney and William Murray, and I will turn it over to the co-chairs.
Thanks, Angela. Um, Cody, should we continue as we have with you leading us through, if you're okay with that? You're doing a great
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
Awesome.
And I was just thinking as a hot dog continuous work. Yeah. Um, can someone pull the agenda? Yeah.
Great. I can do that. Give me just a second.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. It's
Gotcha.
very
First,
slow.
Me too.
first off, let me just do a quick roll call because I always seem to forget that. Um, Jess,
Present.
Rachel,
I'm here.
I know you're here, Bill, but and yeah, sorry, and Joe.
Here.
Alright, we are here and accounted for. Next, before I start, I know there was concerns about the grant list from last cycle, and should that go under new business, or should we do it before deliberations, because it was brought up on Monday?
Well, I guess the question would be if Angela had a chance to even see her email on that.
Sure, sure.
So, can you ask, are we talking about, I just need more details.
Sure. On Rachel had taken a look at the list of grants paid out last year and noticed
Mm-hmm.
some things that didn't seem right. Some organizations that we know that we granted money to didn't show up on payees. And like I think Amherst Historical Society, is that right? Rachel had like three different payments.
Yeah.
And so we're just kind of curious to get a definitive, is that correct? And if so, what happened to the folks that we thought had money? Um, and can we find out what's going on, I guess, basically. Rachel, anything I
Yeah,
missed?
I can just fill in details. So Angela, I was looking for something else. And the grant report or the kind of the financial report you had sent to us. And on the
Mm-hmm.
like on the last two pages are the details of monies that were paid out this past year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I just happened to notice that organizations like the Powwow and I think Restless Books, they did not show up on that list. Even though I recall that we definitely granted them money for this past cycle. And then looking at the dates of the payments, it's all the same date. So I'm wondering if they were just all recorded on the same day, and some of the grantees were actually paid, but it didn't show up on that list.
Okay.
So whereas like Bill mentioned, Amherst Historical Society had 3 separate payments of different amounts. So I don't know if some of that is from a previous cycle or what the discrepancy is. So
Okay.
just to make sure that we have, the records are reconciled. I guess that's what I wanted to, and I presume the people all got paid who were supposed to get paid, but I just
So
didn't see that.
I know that in August and September, I had to clean up. Um, the Tibetan Association really felt like they had been received a grant award letter, but had never received funding. So I had to go back through our accounting office and make sure that they hadn't already cut them a check. And then the holdup was in the lag between the last message I received from the former chair and the time that I heard from the Tibetan group. We had been waiting and waiting and waiting for their W-9. And so I had to request that again from them in August, and they finally got payment, but not until the end of September of this fall.
I see. That wasn't even that one
Okay.
didn't even occur to me, but
And then
um
the other piece of, and I can look
yeah.
through the report that I shared with all of you. The Historical Society, sometimes they, the application name is different from the payment name, so I can look into that. And I do know that you did make a significant contribution to the POWA group, so I'm going to have to figure out why that's not on the spreadsheet.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I recall, sorry, because last spring, I guess it was, because our former chair had asked me to just co-sign a lot of the documents. So I think
Right,
I saw all of them come through in
right.
my email. So, and I know, for example, the powwow group sent in very detailed documentation
Hmm.
in June, basically after, they already, as soon as the powwow was over. So I don't know if they
Hmm.
got paid or not, but I know their documentation was
Yeah.
sent. So if you have any questions on that one, I could forward information if needed. But then the other one was Restless Books. I just happened to remember that we had given them a grant, but I didn't see their name on the list.
So I'm going to let you go ahead with your deliberations.
Okay.
And while you're deliberating, I'm going to dig through my email because oftentimes I was CC'd on stuff. And then I will tell you that the numbers that we're working from in terms of that report are the numbers that we're working from because that is the actual accounting out of our accounting system. So that's what we have in to spend. So
Yeah.
I feel solid about the numbers, but let me figure out the powwow and the historic thing. And what I'm going to do while you all are deliberating is I'm going to compare messages in my email to the report that is part of the packet to what I have from Julianne in terms of turnover batches.
Yeah. One last comment I will add this going for maybe before the list is published, we double check it individually or as a group just to make sure because they could simply be a typo and they got their payment and whoever wrote the list forgot. So, just, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to stay on and try and dig up answers for you and I won't interject until I have answers that I feel like are comprehensive.
Alright, sounds good. At this time, we are going to public comment if anyone can tell me if we got anyone in the attendee room.
There's nobody in the attendee room.
All right. That's order of business. Again, now don't remember minutes ago.
Yeah. I don't have them ready from your meeting that happened while I was in Boston.
How about Fridays?
I owe you 2 sets. Fridays are ready to go, but they weren't in the packet, so I'm going to give you a couple days to review those.
All right, we will table the minutes from Friday, the 10th, and Monday, the 15th. No, Friday, the 12th. We got my days mixed up. Alright, let's hop back into the spreadsheet if you can share that. Joe, I see you unmuted.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah,
Okay,
we
good. Uh, I wanted to. I think I saw something on the last up for this meeting's agenda was to discuss what a staple event was because I remember I had used that phrase last time. There's a little concern around it.
Oh yeah.
Um,
All right, my bad. So
yeah.
let's take a few minutes really to find what a staple, what we feel a staple event is, which would in all books receive substantial amount, whether it's a high push or full amount. I will just start and say I feel Global Fresh Juneteenth in the order non-power or all definite staple events in downtown. Yeah, and this and that yeah. How about Earth thoughts?
If I may, when I had used that phrase at the time, what I meant when I said staple event, I said it kind of offhand, but then I saw it on the agenda. I considered what I meant was like a regular, like established and recurring event that has been going on for at least a little while in and around the downtown, and that could presume to be like recurring and well known as well. I believe I had said staple event when we were discussing the contra dance, um, and what I meant was that it was an ongoing recurring event that um, had been going on for a while and was relative. I believe if you asked a survey of people, would be relatively well known. But I don't. My source right now is myself. So,
Yeah,
um,
I definitely hear you. So I guess my question is like, does the group want to um always go with high to for grants for what we see as staple events. Rachel.
Thank you, Cody. So I feel like if we're setting those definitions now, it's like we're kind of more than halfway through the process. It's almost like I appreciate what Joe said about, him saying that he used it as a description in the conversation. But for me, I rather than spending time figuring out what we mean by staple event at this point, it makes more sense to me to have that conversation as part of a larger discussion about criteria and guidelines that the council wants to set for the next grant cycle going forward. So because there are a lot of criteria that would be involved in this, and I feel like that our time would be better used at this point to go through the rest of the applications. That's my opinion.
No, you have a good point. Because I feel there could be more than just 4 events that we would deem as staple events, and we can definitely have these discussions throughout the year and come to a better understanding come September, October, when we are ramping up, and yeah, well,
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with Rachel. My intent was to use it as a descriptive word when talking about it. I didn't anticipate it would kick up a conversation of definitions. Uh, which isn't a bad thing. I just think I would just in favor of using the time we have to continue the process of evaluating one by one right now as we have been. But I do appreciate the consideration.
alright, no, definitely a good point that we need to look at post cycle, and we will um um I feel a process or criteria can only get better. So yeah, only hearing the want to table this discussion for a future non-cycle meeting. Let's hop right into the rest of the grants. Um, Bill, if you would share your screen.
Let me increase it a little bit.
It's still. Yeah. So, okay, let's just run through this for to keep in mind available funds. We have.
Sorry.
We have just over $2,000 still available based off of our initial number and what we have so far.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Good point.
Uh,
If I may suggest, I was actually thinking about that. Um, I I was thinking it might be a good idea to not ignore, but it's good to have a running tally. But I would think it'd be a good idea to sort of, if we run each one individually and fund it, and then if we see the balance is over at the end, then go back and adjust, rather than letting the running balance as we go down the list in order necessarily affect it as it goes. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want sort of bias of like, oh, we only have quote $3,000 left, making us make decisions on like number 90, sort of influencing that just
Right.
because of the order they were sorted in, if that makes sense.
But this could also inform how we want to view the block that's in orange. I think, with that.
Yeah.
It does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I agree. Yeah, I see your point.
I mean, good. Both of you good points. Like, so let's, yellow, I'd say act as if we didn't see that in orange. We could get more selective.
Good point.
Only first up, Middletown Circus requesting 5,000 of the $59,000 budget. I remember this. It's a great simple windows. If you fund us, we will converse. It's happening no matter what, which those kind of applicants I'm always iffy about, because a lot of places are playing in their year now. So what venues will be open to book if and when they get the funds?
I'm just gonna jump in and say I put this one in the red section because they have no documentations, no venue confirmed, and they're saying we hope to include venues such as Boston, Amherst, and it's a ticketed event, $25 to $35. So that's my 2 cents right there. Put it out there.
No, I'm with you. I think at most it has 5 points on my sheet. Cincinnati. But whoever felt strongly about this, you're welcome to make your case. Just Joe or Bill.
I'm pretty torn because I want to provide partial funding to the idea, but I'm looking, and the only location plan they has is the city of Amherst will provide a suitable area for our circus tent. All electricity, boundary barriers, garbage cans, and pickup at no charge, and yet there doesn't seem to be any, like, have they communicated with Amherst? Is there any record of them having communicated with Amherst? Like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, if it's not in the grant application, like,
Yeah.
it's just making me curious.
In my opinion, they are responsible identifying a venue and then coordinating with them. And,
They have no, yeah.
the request even beyond that, I'm not quite or how other negotiations go, but from being on the powwow committee a few years back, we paid for even custodians. So to say, or you will provide this, and we want to pay that much gives me a bad taste.
It says on page 3, sorry, Cody, it says on page 3 of their application that they're hoping they're planning a 3-city tour that hopefully will include Boston Amherst.
Yeah.
So just
Hopefully.
what they wrote.
Yeah, and they're saying the town of Amherst will provide us with a suitable location for our tent. You mean they haven't scoped out a location for their tent already? They haven't, like, they don't even say where in Amherst it's going to take place. I agree with you, Cody. It kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many other events that have great planning already, like the Juneteenth and the Odinong Powwow know where they're going to be. Like, that's a great part of knowing where you're going to take place, you know?
As a event organizer, that's your responsibility. You just, in my bad if this should be off, right, and not recorded, but I don't sugarcoat stuff. It's just, yeah, you just don't put that on the people hosting you.
I'd kind of go red on this one. I kind of agree with Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah. You too.
We have
Spot it.
Bill or Jess, so we'll get their takes. Jess, I see you.
Oh yeah, I'm good with not funding this one. That makes total sense to me.
Bill.
I agree 100% with you all.
So we won't get funding for this. If you watch this, Middletown provides you to be through and stop for next time. Alright, next up is all in end of the recital by the Center for Human Development requested on the budget 5,000. I will start again. Is for people with disabilities, which apparently there's an increase in that cycle, which I love to see. I think it's a great project. I will note I seem to recall they do apply to accounts or so that shouldn't be pressure to fully fund them anymore. Or more simple, see otherwise, please correct me, but I do seem to remember they have a few others they applied to.
According to their application, they said they'll be applying to the Chicopee Cultural Council.
Yeah.
And then they note that Chicopee hasn't supported this event and not yet supported the event in the past.
I'd go at least mid, maybe high partial. I mean, I'd be open to circling back. Um, I mean, it's going to be on the common. Supports underserved groups, disabilities.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's no cost associated.
Yeah. Yep. It's free. Especially for town common events that, does help the vitality. Very visible.
Yeah. Yeah. Just.
I was gonna point to the question, how will you adjust the project? And they said the project will continue to be carried out regardless of support, but it would be impactful if CHD could continue to tout the support of the local cultural council, showing it too continues to value the all-in program, which makes me think that this is not symbolic, but like they're not necessarily counting on us. So I would definitely want to fund this, but I would personally be on the low end of partial because it sounds like they're not necessarily reliant on our funding to put on the program.
Yeah, and CHC got mentioned they do have funding. Maybe not what it was, but I agree with you, and I'm torn on a proposed amount.
I'd go. How's 1,000 sound? And then
Sorry, before we like confirm the number, I don't know if I was the only one who saw this in the application. Under number of people served, there must be a typo because it says 2.
it's 600, I think.
Okay, so I'm missing a part of that
It-
in their
Um,
application because it's
yeah.
estimated number of people served. It says 2.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
I'm wonder I just saw that as well. I totally missed that. It says 2, but then when it says who is the target audience, it says serving 600 people annually. So maybe it has 2 performers and then they're going to have additional people like coming in to watch it. Maybe. I don't know.
I think
mean-
I'm in principle I think it's great to support this, and I would just vote for the minimum amount that we would give for a grant
Yeah.
on this one.
Well, the average was 391, but I would say at least 750 or 1,000.
Go 750 and circle back, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
I would personally advocate for like 500 rather than 750, but I'm open to 750 if that's what you guys really want.
I would go with the average that's listed there, 400. But yeah, I think let's circle back to this one so we can move on. Yeah.
And let's just put
5. We'd put 5. 5 in my phone.
yeah. 500. Alright, next up we got Tiny Turn. Tiny Turn. I don't know how correctly pronounce it. Requesting all the budget at 1350. I got no preference as I don't remember this
They
application.
they're the ones
So,
that had that letter, that external letter sent afterwards, further explaining their grant
oh,
application in the email.
oh,
I did
yeah.
check out the YouTube channel. It's cute. They do like kid songs. They want to do one at the Jones. Let me open their Mass Cultural Council page. But
The Jones sent a letter of support for them after the fact. That was like the additional documentation they sent.
Mm. So,
I would personally be open to like partially funding this. Like maybe the average, maybe 500, but probably not more than that.
this is multiple performances. March through December of next year.
Yeah. The budget numbers suggest 2 performances.
Maybe the other ones are through the other towns they're planning to visit.
possibly good point.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
they've applied to a lot of cultural councils, which I respect. You know, it's not necessarily a discounting factor. Just I think they're doing like maybe a tiny tootie tour. Let me see. But yeah, it's like a duo that does sings like kid songs. It's quite. I did check out their channel. You know, solid. Yeah.
Well, good for them for
And
applying to multiple councils if they want to do the performances in those respective communities. That totally makes sense to me to
Yeah.
do.
Yep.
That makes sense. Yeah. So it's not a discounting factor at all. I mean, if they want to come to Amherst, absolutely. Sounds fantastic.
I was gonna also draw attention to, I just pulled up and they're saying the estimated number of people served is about 50. So it sounds like it's gonna be kind of a smaller scale event. So that would also be contributing for me of wanting to go like lower end of partial personally.
Yeah. This is yeah. I do want to fund this though. I think partial would be good.
yeah, I just looked at what push would be if we come to 675. Um, and just divided the request in half. Um, how does that sound? Or we can do 500.
I think that sounds good.
Yeah.
So are you guys saying yes to the 675?
I was saying yes to the 500, but I would be open to 675 and
Okay. Do we want to say? Sorry, go
Oh,
ahead, Cody.
no, I was about to say let me just do a roll call for you all. Or, I'm with 675 Rachel.
500 for me,
Jeff.
if that was the other one on the table.
Yeah,
500?
Bill,
Agree. 500.
Joe.
500.
500 we will go with. Next up is venture into Amherst requesting 600 of their out of full budget. Sounds cool. Yeah.
My only concern is they don't seem to have a specific time or event pegged for when they want to play. Not, I mean, shouldn't knock them out of contention, but
Yeah. Um, yeah. Doesn't, yeah, not very specific or locations or anything. I mean, my mind is conjuring an image of like scattered street performances around, but I don't know if that's actually what it's going to look like.
Yeah, I got the same mental image. And it's like, I go with the average on this one.
I'd go 250. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm,
because it's not feeling like a actual set event anymore. So yeah,
gonna,
which is still cool. Just
I was gonna say Adventure into Amherst, when you look at the bid letter of support, the like additional material, it says Adventure into Amherst is a program to welcome new students to their host community. So it sounds like the locations and dates aren't set because they're maybe waiting on coordination from like the colleges for like student orientation and stuff like that. So it's based off the letter that was here. It sounds like this is maybe an established event that she's partnered with before. Um, but I also am open to like 250.
yeah.
my question becomes, do they have access to funds through the colleges? Therefore, yeah, 250. Me, I'd be,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm I'm good with 250. I'd want fully funding if I had kind of a little more information. I feel like I don't know if I'm missing anything on like what's because my mind's eye is conjuring. If anyone remembers the I don't know if he still plays. It's been a while since I've been in Northampton at night, but the saxophone guy in Northampton. Um, I'm kind of picturing that, but like all over the town. But that's not what's actually in the application. It's what my imagination's conjuring. All it says is a widely public performance on the street, available for all to enjoy. Let's see. Yeah, I'd go 250 for now. Maybe adjust it later.
Alright, we go to 50. Alright, next up, fostering language and culture preservation, requesting the full budget of $5,000. Um, I seem to remember this is a repeat applicant. So, if someone knows what we've done in the past, that would help. average here is 1,083. I got no preference.
That is in line with what we granted last year, based on my quick search here of
The average of 5,000.
the average.
All right.
So, because I think last year we had initially granted 1,500, 1,500, but then do you remember we went through that round where it's like, which ones of these will we
Yeah.
take away
Yeah.
from? So that was one of the ones that we chose to do that. So I would say that what's the average here is pretty close to what we ended up granting them last year, just as a reference.
My question then is do we want to keep with the average or try to give them more this year?
I'd say personally that 1,000 sounds good to me since it is a year-long program, but it is for a pretty small number of students. Yeah.
Oh,
I agree. I
I
agree.
do.
At least, yeah, 1,000. Yeah, it is. Is preservation for an underserved group.
Yeah.
This
The
culture
other thing
is.
that I would bring up just to have it in the record is it's a regional organization. They're meeting in Hadley, but they're not applying anywhere else in any other cities. And so just to note that that may be, and I don't know if we are allowed to provide them feedback, but they should certainly consider applying to other cities if it truly is regional.
Yeah, if they definitely.
I think we have provided feedback because I remember some young people applied with they got. I mean, I would say one got very small amount, but we got feedback.
So how
But
about if sorry, go ahead.
no, I was going to say that something when we do a info session, we can say, it's more appealing to have applied to multiple councils. But Rachel,
I was just gonna say, how about if we put what, the number we have up on the screen now, and then just consider this as one of the ones we might adjust downward when we're balancing the budget in the end.
Sounds good.
Uncle Source 1083. Yeah. Uncle
Yeah, it'd be 1,000 right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that work.
Yeah. Alright. Let's go when the minds meet free film screen requesting 250 out there 2,500 budget. I'd say fully funding is a modest amount, and I really respect people and they are modest. And yeah.
I had personally said don't fund this one because it's going to be in Turner's Falls. So there definitely might be people from Amherst that go, but it's not like an Amherst specific event.
Yeah, I mean, and I know we are funding something else out there, but I will say just cause it's recording, people may still want to fund this, but now that um the event had clearly regional benefit where this could be a small event and less regional benefit. Um, I'm with you on that. What do other people think?
Um, I'm leaning towards red. Just I'm agreeing with Jess leaning towards red just because it's mostly outside of Amherst, but the ask is so small that if everyone wants to lean towards 250 and moving on, I'm fine with that.
Um, I'm fine either way.
I'd
Rachel,
I'd bias toward red then.
Bill, what do you think on this one?
Yeah, I guess I am back and forth. I guess where I land is is ultimately with Jess and Joe in that it's we I think we have been prioritizing events in Amherst, and just in order to keep following that, I would be okay with not funding it. If we happen to have money left over at the end enough to give them the 250, I would be totally fine with that. It sounds like a unique film, and it does serve underserved communities. But I think keeping in line with what we've been doing, that it to me it makes sense to put it in the red for now.
I'm with you on that, and we have done that in the past. Actually, with the young person I just mentioned, I think we were able to fund that something due to having extra. So I'm fine with that. So moving on to Liberation Playback Theater 2026 training series. I was just making sure it was training. Requesting 1250 out after their whole budget. No preference to others as such.
I mean, I guess if I'm being consistent in what I said just 5 minutes ago, this is also in Turner's Falls.
Hmm.
It does mention other venues around the area, and on the opposite side of the other side of that coin is it does seem to really focus on disabled BIPOC facilitators and LGBTQ facilitators,
Yeah.
which
No.
Yep.
makes it a little more. I'm a little more inclined to give something. Um, but I can't
Well,
be.
yeah. The average is 416, which I would think, if we were to get something that could be possible, what do others think?
I agree with Bill. I think it's even though it's outside of Amherst, it is very laser focused on supporting underserved communities, which um, I think I would be amenable to giving it the average of 400 for now.
Yeah, just
I was gonna say in the like partners question, they listed Hope Community Church as a potential space, so it sounds like they don't have a confirmed Amherst location, but especially if we were to give them some sort of monetary support, I could see them like having at least one of their workshops here.
yeah. How about you, Rachel?
How would you all feel about putting down 300 for
Sure.
that for now?
I'm cool with that.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. All right, moving on tourism and rise. Devising percussion music for Shakespeare performance. Um, requesting $600 out the 12,400 budget. Again, modest. The average was 180 for
It sounds like this one's gonna happen primarily in Montague as well. It's run by someone who's based in Amherst, and it mentions throughout it like there's Amherst connections, but it doesn't give a very like clear indication of what that is. So
In
I would personally want to give 0 to this one.
in addition, it costs there's a sliding scale of 0 to 600 for ensemble members to join for the semester.
yeah.
I'd agree with not funding this one as well.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Oh man, I said this before. Montague so close. I do definitely see Emma's folks community, but get also sad if you don't drive. Montague's tough to get to, so I'm okay with putting this in red.
Yeah.
So, Bill, you on board with that?
yes, I am.
All right. Moving on to celebrating arts and image at image media. I guess 5,000 out of the 24,000 budget. I mean, it showcases events. I mean, all of this. So, it's pretty equal of it. Again, 416 was the average.
This is an exhibit at the Amherst Media office. It's free. They will prioritize what they state they will prioritize underserved communities when selecting their art. Let's see.
My only reservation about this is how many people are going to go to their office.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's pretty out of the way,
Mhm.
but I don't think that, let's scratch that. But it depends on how they're advertising it. They do claim 250 for marketing materials in their promotion, but other than that, it might not seem very apparent that it's there.
I'm okay with giving them that amount for the marketing, actually, the 250, because if you look at their budget, it's mostly salaries, right? And if we go to that MCC page that I referenced before about operating grants, they're getting over $26,000 from MCC for the operating grant, for the operations.
Is
Yeah.
that's a page separate from their cultural council grant application? Interesting.
Correct.
Okay.
If you want me to share my screen, I can do that, show you quickly, but otherwise, can I share screen or no? Anyway. So that's just a little bit of perspective. So I think what you mentioned, Joe, about the marketing, I think I would be comfortable with giving them that.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Just you me.
Oh yeah, 250 sounds good to me as well. The only thing I was gonna add is that the Jones Library is like temporarily in the same building as Amherst Media, so I could see them trying to like capitalize on that. So I'd say giving them the marketing money makes sense. Help them
Could be
do
decent.
that.
Could be decent. I like it.
Uh,
I agree.
so let's put 250 down.
I'll go find the ID for Art for
Oh,
Community.
yeah. Oh, for community to request in their whole budget at 6,588. The average was 300 even. So, right, or I see you now.
This is the yeah, I mean, I'd be okay with that amount.
300. How about Earth folks?
What about 250?
Yeah.
24251 for 300 bill.
I'm good with 250 for this one.
And the tie break, go with 250. All right, next up is legally or the best practice sessions requesting the whole budget at 500 averages $83. So I say if we don't want to fund them above 83, might as well more care.
Oh,
This is like a performance art series of workshops, and they say that they're doing them throughout the area, but might do one in Amherst.
they say they claim at least one will be in Amherst, yet they have actually a pretty detailed list of places they've confirmed or have potential venues. Like in Holyoke, like Locust and Holyoke, make it Springfield confirmed, Northampton Center for the Arts, which are confirmed, potential ones in Greenfield and East Hampton, but no potential or confirmed locations for Amherst yet. They just say at least one in Amherst. Where?
Yeah, again, it was getting a near that time where it'd be hard to book, I guess.
The other thing I'll say is, oh, sorry.
I mean, you can probably get Mill River or a outdoor space, but as far as a indoor space, yeah, they got managed by the time they got the money, it'd be tough. Bill, sorry to cut you off.
No, I cut you off, so I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say when if I look at their project budget, what they submitted is for one performance or session. So that would we're not fully funding their entire program. We would just be fully funding a session in Amherst, it looks like. And they have applied to the other cities where they're gonna be as well.
Yeah, so it's like if you find us, we will come type of thing.
Feels like it.
Mm-hmm.
And which I, me personally, don't really care for. I'd rather a confident applicant versus
I
self-reliant.
I feel not as strongly, but I feel similarly to how I felt toward the Milltown Circus with this one, in terms of
Yeah,
seeing a lack of a solid plan. They're asking, and like you just said, if you fund it, we will come. So I would go red or zero on this, is what I'm leaning toward.
yeah. No, I'm on board with red. Rachel Jess.
I don't feel strongly either way. So Jess, what do you think?
Yeah, same. I'm good with going red on this one.
All right, we will go red on this one. Next up, music on the menu requesting all the budget at 1750. The average be 375. I got no preference. So would like to hear from others.
I guess I'm a little confused about how this would actually happen in protocol, having been in there.
Definitely a little cramped. It's a good
And
point.
and I'm not sure, would this happen outside of like their normal hours? And apologies if it's in here and I've missed it. And they also mentioned, encouraging the purchase of venue food. Yeah, I don't know.
It is in Amherst. But is this a concert benefiting the public or a specific business? I mean,
Right.
that raises some questions with well, play concerts at the Drake would benefit the Drake. Like I imagine their bar will be open during Queer Core Fest, right? So now
Yeah,
I'm starting to think about that.
that's a good point.
I think
Yeah.
this is meant to be a fundraising dinner for the symphony orchestra.
Mm,
Um, and
Mm.
Protocol would be the venue. And
yeah.
the thing that would entice Protocol to host them is they would encourage people to like buy food from them while they're there. So
Makes
I
sense.
think that's the actual setup.
I
Sorry.
mean, it makes sense. I think I would go for low to mid partial on this. I mean,
I'm conflicted on this. I mean, supporting the orchestra, absolutely. Funding a fundraiser feels a little weird to me.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was serious.
That's kind of how I feel too.
I don't mind going red on this one too.
I'm fine with red if that's where everyone's leaning. I was just thinking about some other.
And
I was,
also, can someone read the last one? Just
uh,
so we don't forget.
we read Liturgy Order Bridge that got read.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's been
Sorry. Sorry. And that's the story time in the golden request. Then 1,200 out of $2,000 budget. The average is 600. So, yeah. So,
it is free. It's on a farm in Amherst. It is I would be personally going for like low partial on this. Um it is definitely representing an underserved and voice that is being actively erased right now, or attempted to at least. So uh
yeah.
so
How, yeah. How about 300?
yeah.
I
I
was
like that.
gonna, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, Joe, you were gonna say something.
Um yeah, I mean I'd be amenable to 300 for the time being. Uh just do want to fund do I am a fan of funding things that elevate Palestinian voices in general.
makes sense, Rachel.
I was actually going to go to bat for this one for full funding because I think regardless of whose perspective is being shared here, I think the premise of the event and what is, being incorporated and what they have planned as a whole, I feel very much is aligns with what we're doing with our grant making. So that's what I was gonna go to bat for myself.
Okay. All right.
I
Jess.
I was gonna say around 1,000, and I'd be more inclined to lean towards Rachel's full funding. Yeah, I'd say full funding for this one as well.
Bill.
Yeah, I can be behind that.
Yeah, I think if there's anyone, I think you'll definitely sold me on it. I think we'll go full and then adjust everything else
Yeah.
around if we need to at the end because this is another example of like this is why we're just trying to evaluate each one on its own, like I was mentioning at the beginning, not considering the running total because that's a good point.
All right. 1,500 it is.
Thank you all. I think it's also just the based on the objectives they're achieving and also the different ways they're doing it, kind of addressing people where they're at and all of that. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Out of all the events, this is very well set up. I do agree with that. Oh, it's a whole day. Yeah, heck yeah.
And just key issues.
Yeah, it's a very multifaceted event, like Rachel was saying as well.
All right, busting on the comment requesting 2,000 out of the $7,500 budget. Average was 766.
I'd personally want to go for at least like 1,000 on this one because it's going to be throughout the summer, a series of musical performances held bi-weekly on the Common. They're going to be talking about artists from underrepresented communities, and there's going to be like food truck vendors, and it sounds like it has the potential to become like a quote unquote staple event. You know
Yeah,
what I
you
mean?
know what? I agree. I'd argue for full. I do like taking over multiple things and it's on the Common.
I'm hearing 1,000. I'm hearing 4. How about others?
I mean, this one to me kind of ticks all of the boxes that almost all the boxes that we should be looking for. So I would be good from anything 1,000 to full funding. I can be behind any of that.
All right, Rachel.
Thank you, Cody. I agree in principle with that as well. And I think that when it comes down to kind of when we like finessing all the numbers later, I guess I would put this one in the same category or bucket as the community band performances. So maybe between the two of them, we could strike a balance because I don't know if we can fully fund both, but maybe, they're kind of similar, right? In spirit and reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whether we want to put down 1,000 full now, I don't know, but that's kind of how I would evaluate it later.
I'd advocate for full now, and evaluate later if everyone's all right with that.
Let's do a roll call on that very Rachel.
I would vote for 1,000 personally.
Jess.
I stand by 1,000.
Bill.
Mm. Tough one. I mean, I guess I can stand by 1,000, and as Rachel mentioned, we can find a balance between the other two, and maybe it gets a little bit more, but I'm good with 1,000.
Joe.
Uh, I'd say full again, but it sounds like everyone's team toward 1,000. And with this kind of thing, I don't. It doesn't necessarily have to be either or if we're looking to prioritize central events on the common. If we wanted to balance fully funding both, possibly.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be an either or type of thing.
No, 1,000, and we will come back with this one. Probably the same community band will be the same conversation. So, 1,000 for now. And if we can go higher, awesome.
Yeah, Joe, just so I think you understood what I was saying was this, as I thought maybe we would high partial for both if it came down to that.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not saying one or
absolutely,
the
yeah.
other. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Alright. Inspiring story that timeless beauty of the Silk Road, or requesting 2,100 out the 2,100 budget. Average was 340. No preference on this.
My personal reservation with this is that it seems to be pretty focused on UMass and like having workshops with UMass students and community members. So it sounds like there is a public benefit, but I'm also a little curious as to why they're applying for a grant through us rather than through like institutional funding.
Yeah, no, good point. And again, when we talk about our standards and criteria, this coming summer or fall, we can ask the question of those titles culturally be more critical or be asked, well, are you receiving funding? But yeah.
This this is very focused at UMass, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because UMass is in Amherst, but I do hold the same reservations. They are applying to a bunch of Eastern Mass cultural council funds as well, which I was just wondering about like Natick and things like that. Um, Maybe it has to do with the locations of like their research places, but it says Sudbury, Waltham, Brookline, Acton, Natick, and Lincoln, which would imply Amherst is the only Western Mass council they've applied to, which I'm assuming is because UMass is there. So it seems more of an institutional exhibition.
Yeah. That makes sense. I think I'm more to the slow because the shortest stop is be 1 hour. Ooh, you finally come, but you have a good point of, well, is UMass their home base?
Yeah, and like I do want to mention like the productions at Bowker Auditorium are like they are at UMass, but they're well known as again a staple event in the Amherst community, whereas this one seems kind of like almost like a like an college or museum institutional exhibition that happens to be very focused on UMass, and I question how much it would be advertised to the broader Amherst community outside of UMass students, mainly on campus. Um, it does feel kind of one of those things like an exhibition that you may only find out about if you're on UMass campus, if that makes sense.
Alright, I saw Angela's hand then Rachel.
So this doesn't have to happen now, but I have some details on the forensic accounting side of cleaning up last cycle. When and if you're ready, it doesn't have to happen this meeting. It can happen in a standalone. Yeah.
Do you mind maybe if we go through the yellow since we just
Yeah,
have
no,
to
I don't mind
vote
at all.
up and
I'm
then-
just
and
hanging out,
then-
looking up documents to try
Thank
and make
you.
sense of all of this.
Okay, thank you, Angela. So Cody, I just have a quick comment about this
Yeah.
current application we're discussing is that judging by the application is very much a workshop for almost like a student club, like a kind of a group on campus. So because the support letter is written by the, I think, Asian History Club, or it's like a student group. So it's even smaller than an exhibition in scope.
Yeah,
At least judging by, what I see in the application. So I feel like this one should actually be a red in my opinion.
yeah,
That's
I
where I'm going.
So
fantastic
it's
point. I
not,
agree.
I think it'd be a very different thing if, say, the Jones Library said, "Oh, we want to invite this group to do this workshop for the community," and it's going to take place at UMass.
Yeah,
Do you
UMass
see what I
has
mean? So yeah,
UMass has great internal systems for student clubs to seek funding from the university, which the university has an excess of funding they could divert towards this. So that is
Alright,
a comment.
let's did everyone speak? I'm hearing red on this one.
That sounds good to me.
Yep, I agree with that.
And that's how together emotion rocking through the decades. Evening of music and dance. Requesting $1,000 of the 4650 budget. Did we already talk about this? Because there's a amount.
This one and the Magic for Seniors were ones that had been in the red, and then Bill and Rachel advocated for these two. We talked about them, and then we set the amount to 200. But then Rachel had mentioned the MCC's guidelines to have 250 be the minimum award amount.
Alright, so thank you for that. So are we good with this last two?
I think I was trying to find exactly that citation, like again, to be able to share this meeting, and I was having trouble finding it. So I think the MCC has their recommendations, but that doesn't mean that we can't, as a council, decide on, what we want to do. So if 200 is a better number for everyone, we could certainly go with that. So,
Yeah.
so I just want to mention that, but I will actually keep looking for that reference in the meantime. Thank you.
I think
Uh,
250 sounds good though, personally.
Yeah.
It'd be fine if we like really want to at the end, like if we say, oh, what if we cut all the 250s down to 200s to like do the final balancing, then like sure, but 250 for
Yeah.
now is good, like
No, yeah, I like that, Joe. Like, so we could look at that when balanced.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a negative value. So currently we would need to cut that amount 3,527 uh and again this is a theoretical number for the end of our deliberations, and we haven't
Yeah.
discussed the oranges yet either.
Yeah.
So I think we maybe need to take that into account in conjunction with whatever update Angela has for us, right? So with the orange ones, I mean, because we already gone through the reds are like we dealt with them, right? So the orange ones, I don't know if anyone feels strongly about any of the orange ones that should be funded.
Yeah, I would advocate for start for saying what I think your plan, Rachel, is I would advocate for turning the oranges to red unless anyone wants to go to bat for any of these.
Yeah, that's kind of,
Yeah,
yeah, thank you.
I would agree. I would agree with that. If I'm just gonna scroll through these. Yeah, I don't feel like the Agni event is something
Yeah.
for yeah, like in terms of the two ones asking for 10 grand. I mean, the Juneteenth is much more of a
This is
plus,
Do
also a competition
and it charges money
for
to the
university students, yeah.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
I will flag that Hilltown Youth Recovery Center presents the Spiderweb concourse that kids commenting in summer house sunset concert series. Or repeat applicants that I know we funded in the past. Over the two, I would say look at Summit House Sunset concert series, 'cause I know that it pretty well off of an image.
I would
Time when people are hiking, so I, you know, yeah, how much?
I
Yeah,
would I would advocate looking at Klez. I'd advocate for putting Klez in at least the yellow as part of their plans. They do have some co-sponsored events in Amherst. Do plan to have some, like their main event is not in Amherst, but they do plan to have some co-sponsored events in Amherst during the time on that July weekend. Even though the main event's in Cummington, they are planning to have some like satellite events in Amherst and have heavy ties to the JCA as well. I'd advocate for putting it in at least yellow. My heart wants the Summit House concert series to receive some funding. Uh, Logically, I know it's not in Amherst. Like personally, I've been to that event. It's great, but it is on Mount Skinner and Hadley, and they do charge tickets, and it is on top of a mountain. So, but it is on a personal level, it's quite a nice event.
I would say the one thing that I would want to have reconsidered would be the Hilltown Youth Recovery Theater. Just
Yeah. So basically, all the repeat applicants Hilltown class summer
Yeah.
as talked about in the rest, I'm comfortable going red
Yeah.
on.
And I'll just make a note. I'm comfortable with Summit House not receiving funding, but if there's like if we want to throw some that way at the end, that's just personally, again, it's a personal thing. I personally that is a good event, but I understand if that doesn't meet our grant funding priorities.
Yeah, I mean, it has in the past, so that's why I'm not quite comfortable with it, but
Yeah.
people can persuade me and thinking otherwise.
Wasn't the I'm trying to remember, music dance EDU applied to two,
Yeah.
and the Kendrick Drake beef one we were more favorable to. Is that right? It was the other one in the red, I think. I'm trying to remember.
The other one is the hip hop chair dancing for seniors.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And I think I would be willing, I would want to advocate for the hip hop popular culture one.
I think it,
Oh, and I forgot cemeteries of Amherst. We also have
yeah, you're,
funded in the past.
it's such a low amount, and it is, something that is continually in Amherst. And
Yeah.
I can't, but the rest I would be comfortable. Let me see, looking at the rest. I would be comfortable going red on the remaining four.
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah.
I know we fund looked at a senior cloud form, but that's I remember more pros, more cons than any in the past, even when funding them. Yeah. Alright, do we want to go to India and then come back to what we want together, or do we want now these out now and then go to India? What's a preference?
Let's finish these up, finish up the ones we have, and then go to Angela.
Or how about
That works for me.
alright, let's do it. So, um, go up one. Yeah. Hilltown Recovery Youth in the presence of Spiderway Concourse requesting 1,800 out of the hefty budget of 103,800. Um,
So I would, for me, it's the money is secondary, the support is primary. So if 250 would be okay for me, but I do want to show support for the work that they do.
Yeah, like as a youth advocate, youth rights leader, I'm all for this kind of work. I would fully fund it, because with youth events, you do get youth from all over. So as long as they advertise well in research, yeah, it's a job, but like
Yeah, this is like,
they feel well off. So
yeah, like they said in their application, a large contingent of their attendees do come from Amherst, so they are plugged into the target group in the Amherst community that they're supporting. Um, as well. So I think I do agree with Bill. We do want to have some support. I would go for 250 for now, at least.
yeah, I would advocate higher, but I will go with majority for now. Rachel, Jess.
My personal reservations about this are like it must be hard for someone from Amherst to get up to where it is held for a day camp in Heath. Um, but they have year-round programming that engages Amherst people more directly. So I would be fine with 250.
Rachel.
Thank you, Cody. I think, to kind of echo what Bill said, it's really the gesture of our support in this case. And I think just as a something to consider down the road is for a lot of these projects is our, token of support. Is that something we want to focus on going forward? And there are arguments against funding the same people every year. Okay, so that's something we at the council would need to talk about, as well as, repeat applicants. But for the purposes of this one and the rest on this list, I think 250 seems like a comfortable number to work with.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's go 250, and you do bring up. Man, we got a lot of conversations to have over the off season. So I'm definitely looking forward to those. Class commenting. I mean, some events in English, how many, and if it's just one course, a lower amount.
I'd go 250 again, but I do want to show some support, I think.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me as well.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Rachel.
Yes, thank you. 250.
250 is a win. Alright, Summit House Sunset Concert Series has since its 100 out of 7450 budget. Do we want to say 250 for this in option 7 is only 200? So yeah.
250
I
sounds good to me.
I was personally gonna say red for this one because it's gonna be held at. Well, yeah, this is a similar principle to me as some of the other ones that I've said red on, where it's out of town and there's not like a direct way to get there if you don't have a car. Um, but if the majority of people say 250, I'm fine with that.
All right. Yeah.
I'm also fine with voting it as a red if that's what we, have to, because we're gonna
You
have
know,
to make
Yeah.
compromises. So
at, as the person who originally advocated for this, I think I'm going to agree with Jess and Rachel and go red for this. While I personally enjoy this event, I think I do have to concede it is outside of Amherst and on top of a mountain, so not extremely accessible. But it is fun. I do recommend going to at least one of the concerts next year if you have the time.
Uh, yeah, I can't remember why we funded this. If I did our or you that, I think they were just starting out, which is why we wanted to help them. But Bill,
I was also leaning to red on this one.
all right, red it is. Um, uh, our last one of the night part, we will probably have to meet Monday. But once next week. Uh, yeah.
do we have time to hear what Angela has to say? Or
We still
The Sam is the cemetery's 200 collective, so we probably can agree to fully fund that. Mm,
I'm good with fully funding this, but I think they gave us money back this past year because they didn't do it. Maybe the weather or something. But
Yeah. That,
yeah, sure.
yeah. Alright. Um, just due to time, I'd say, wait, yeah. I would do 250. I don't mind. How about
I would say 270. I mean, I would fully fund the extra $20. Doesn't mean too much
yeah,
to us, but it does show like full support.
just
I feel super neutral on this one. That sounds good to me.
Joe?
I agree on the 270.
All right. And that concludes probably the first to last. We go through grants and what you have for us.
All right. I think I'm going to have to do some more work, but I want to show you where I am. So I'm just going to share my screen and we are going to start with this is the document that everyone got to see. Has everyone seen that list, that general list?
Yeah.
Okay, but we're going to go to the press release. So the press release I have on January 17th, 2024. Is that the wrong year?
Yeah, we're looking for 2025.
Okay. So let me just say, and I'm going to do this, and it's going to be really quick. This is the W-9 for the powwow, and I'm not showing their EIN number, so we're okay. But do you see how it says tiny seed?
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. 'Cause I was
Okay,
wondering if
so
that's it.
on the
Yeah.
list, it's tiny seed, right? And so I went back to the list, and Amherst Historical Society is here 3 times. It's right in the middle, underneath Amherst Community Television. So we were worried about the Historical Society not showing up 3 times. They're there times. And then if we go to the bottom, tiny seed is here, right here, at the bottom of this page. So even though you had over 140 applicants, right? You didn't fund all of them. And so I'm going to go back to Leah and push back a little bit. But what I can do for you, and it's going to take some time, is I can go through everyone's W-9 and match up like Alexandra Marsh. That's not descriptive. I can tell you what the project was, and I can modify this PDF so that it's Alexandra Marsh slash, right? Let's pretend she was the powwow, but it would be Tiny Seed Inc. slash Onondaga powwow. So I can go through and do that for you if that
Yeah.
would be helpful. Is that what you'd like me to do?
Yeah, and just going forward again before we publish it, we should be the ones that can over and approve it. But yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, I'm sorry, Rachel, go ahead.
I was just gonna say thank you so much for looking into that, Angela. And I think some of the questions I have was because I thought, okay, because Tiny C, because they had the largest number on that list, I thought
Mhm.
maybe that's for the powwow. But I thought, as I recall, we had that was the one we had said we were not going to just like take away any of the full funding that we had committed to. So that's why but I think maybe in the end the kind of justification or the shifting of numbers just happened,
Yeah, I mean,
with the chair. Like
I
we
have
didn't
their
we didn't
award
see that part
letter.
of it. But that
Okay.
makes sense to me. And then the historical society, no, I only raised it because it shows up 3 times, whereas I didn't realize we had funded them 3 times in that year. So
Right,
I didn't know
right,
if that was from a previous year that was also added to that.
right. So this
Um,
is the award
that's
letter.
all.
I don't know if you're seeing it right now, but
Yeah.
it's to Onondaga powwow, and then the total amount is 5,853.
Perfect, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the historical society, I just thought maybe something from a previous year was recorded that, last year, or and then Restless Books, that was one I remember, and then I think that there was another one that we talked about. But I mean, I don't question the what was done. It was just more like, okay, so are we sure that
That they're all there and accounted for. Yeah.
exactly?
Yeah.
So the way that Leah went about, and in full and complete transparency, we changed comptrollers during the time that you guys were kicking into this new grant cycle. So the only way Leah had to pull that report is to go into our accounting system and literally print out everything that had been paid out from your budget line. And that's how that report was created. So she didn't have access to the awards list. Like Holly hadn't left that for her. And she didn't have access to all of the background. Like I have all the W-9s, So I can go through and match things up, but that's how that report was created for the MCC.
Thank you so much, because also, I mean, for our purposes, it's like we're to make sure that the amount of money that we actually have reflects what was
Mhm.
paid out and what
Mhm.
happened. And I saw that a couple of people probably returned their grants because they weren't able to use them. So,
So I
yeah,
feel confident
thanks.
about the numbers on that report, and I feel
Okay.
like we can feel good about those numbers and we can roll with those numbers. But again, as you reach the end of your deliberations, I would really encourage you to save a chunk of money for you as a council to really thoughtfully spend in terms of supporting the cultural district in Amherst, and also putting yourselves out there as ambassadors for cultural events in Amherst. Like, you do a lot of work. This has been a tremendous amount of effort. It's been a number of hours. And I feel like you guys should show up at Block Party and Table and say, we are the people who support all of these great events, and we are the people that are promoting cultural activity in your area. So it's not
Yeah.
like take a bow, but it's also like we want you to have an outward facing presence whenever it's possible.
And we have table at the block party. That's when we did the survey. And
Right.
just jogging back to previous talks, that could be something we want to do this coming year. Just a temperature check of what are we missing, what if anything more the community wants. But
So I'll go through and match up all of those names with things that you can recognize, and I will send that out to you in an email attachment. And then if you give me the thumbs up, I'll put it in the next packet. But it sounds like you want to meet on Monday.
if that was for everyone else.
Everybody who's here needs to show up in order for it to function, because I haven't heard from Evelyn at all.
Yeah, I can do. I know Evelyn wanted to advocate for one that was in the red too, so I haven't heard her voice on that.
I mean, she's missed the entire grant cycle, kind of. I know she was there early on, like on the front end, but Bill and Cody, have you heard from her directly?
No, I haven't reached
No,
out, but I haven't heard from her either.
So the
I
five of
mean,
us need to show up. I mean, we have to at least make sure the
Yeah.
five of us
I
are there
can't
to vote for the.
I can't make it on Monday, but are people able to do a different day?
well,
What's good for everyone? Maybe we should just try to figure that out now, so that because then we're running up into the holidays after that.
Unfortunately, I do have to get going at the end of the meeting right now. I do apologize.
So I'll put a poll out for Monday and Tuesday of next week and see what we come up with quorum wise. Does that sound good?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's, uh,
I'll do it
Is
right. I'll
Friday
do it
still an option or no? I mean, not
Friday
that
of
we
this
necessarily
week.
want to be having a meeting on Friday, but
No, we've missed the 48-hour window.
oh, right, because
Yeah.
Wednesday already.
Yeah. So I'll put a poll out right after this meeting for 5 o'clock Monday, 5 o'clock Tuesday. And do you need it to be a 2-hour meeting, or do you think you're good with an hour and a half or like an hour?
hour half.
Okay.
I mean, we could shoot for an hour, but like I know for 5 hour half should be good.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks,
Uh,
everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks.
Meeting adjourned.
Thanks, everyone.
You.
Every night,
Bye.
everyone.